Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves.
Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is a fighting game developed by SNK that released April 20th, 2025, and by a technicality, April 21st, 2025, due to the 3-day early access. You're probably wondering why I'm making a review a month later. Putting it simply, after a month, the honeymoon phase of a game usually ends and the dust settles, allowing a more fair review of the game compared to a day 1 review. So, with all being said, this review goes over everything I experienced in City of the Wolves, and whether or not you should buy the game. City of the Wolves is a 5-button control scheme fighting game. You have your jabs, and you have your heavies. Your last button is the Rev Guard, which blocks chip damage. Other button combinations are the Feint Key, which is a fake-out special that can be used for mix-ups. The Rev Blow is a lot like Street Fighter VI's Drive Impact, where it can be used to counter an opponent, but it can also be used for a punish. And finally, the dodge attacks. This move dodges an attack while performing your own. Every character has special moves, and City of the Wolves is no different. An EX version of these are called Rev Arts, and they can be cancelled into one another. Every time a Rev Art is used, it's added to your heat meter on the bottom. Go over 100 and you enter Overheat, where you cannot use Rev Arts or Rev Blow. Certain special moves can also be braked. For example, Terry's Light Burning Knuckle and Heavy Power Dunk can be braked. Braking is basically ending a special early and can extend to combos. Each character has basically a light and heavy version of their supers, called Ignition Gears and Redline Gears. Ignition uses the light button, while Redline uses the heavy button. There is also a third super that uses the Rev Guard button called the Hidden Gear. When on hit, it does massive damage while also resetting your heat meter. Rev Blow and Hidden Gears can only be used when SPG is active, aka the thing on your health bar. And at the beginning of each match, you choose where you want it, either at the beginning, middle, or end. There's also 2-lane battles, but I didn't play it, so we're not talking about it. Now that I went over the gameplay basics, it's time to talk about the rest of the game. Episodes of Southtown is City of the Wolves single-player mode. You pick a character to go through their individual story, you get into battles, level up, read some dialogue, get into more battles with multiple characters, level up, fight a gimmick battle, level up and equip some perks, do the bottle breaking minigame, level up, do more battles, fight a boss, do more battles. It's World of Light. The only difference being individual stories and a focus on multiple fights instead of gimmick fights. Basically speaking, it's a lot like World of Light in a way that if you played and completed it once, you basically experienced the entirety of it. Sure, you have individual stories, but they're told in text between characters, and sometimes in comic-style pages, not cutscenes. It's not bad by any means, but it's just like World of Light where all you really do is battles. A cool part of City of the Wolves is the custom color option. You can customize a character's hair color, clothing color, and weapon color. I even have some custom colors. Here I have Byleth Mai, Shez Kine, the guy from an overrated JRPG Terry, and Red Marco. As much as I like custom colors, and to an extent episodes of Southtown, for some reason one certain character is completely missing from both of these features. That being the football player Ronaldo. Which brings me to talking about the character roster. Fighting game rosters are like the toppings on a pizza. For example, you got Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's a fucking deluxe pizza, and every DLC fighter is a new topping added to said pizza. Plant is like the butter sauce you get from a Papa John's pizza. Like, it's free if you ordered early, and it's just a good dip you add to the pizza, no harm done. Joker, Hero, Banjo, and Terry are your exotic toppings you don't expect. But at the same time, don't mind eating, you know. Fatty tuna, lamb, honey sauce, hamburger. So much so that it's a surprise it works well on the pizza. Byleth is a pepperoni. You know, some people think there's already enough pepperoni on the pizza, but regardless of whatever side you're on, pepperoni belongs on pizza, and it's still a pizza. It's not like we're adding Min Min is pineapple on a pizza. You got fans, yes, and you're on other established pizzas, but you're still a subjective topping, and considering the current combination of Steve is strawberries on pizza. Great, now the pizza's fucking ruined.
At this point, it really doesn't matter what you put on as a topping, because you put fucking strawberries on a goddamn pizza. Some people bring up the fact that you can pick up the strawberries, and no the fuck you can't. That shit was baked into the pizza. You pick that shit off, it's still gonna have a strawberry aftertaste. Not only that, but there's a subsection of people who think strawberries belong on the pizza now, because strawberries are super fucking popular and is one of the best-selling fruits. Therefore, despite making the pizza infinitely worse to consume for the rest of the population who's also eating the pizza, we should keep strawberries on the next pizza that will be baked, despite the fact that strawberries do not belong on pizza under any circumstance and actively make the pizza worse. Like, we can add wings, extra cheese, hot sauce, fucking duck. Doesn't fucking matter, because you take one bite into the cheese, sauce, and strawberries. You are eating strawberries on a fucking pizza. You never want to eat that shit again. Now you're probably thinking, why don't you move on to, like, a rival pizza? You know, like this one. Or this one. And, you know, they're fine, but at the end of the day, they don't taste as good as that deluxe pizza. Then eventually, you come back to the strawberry pizza and convince yourself that you actively enjoy eating strawberries on a pizza. Now, what does this allegory have to do with Fatal Fury's pizza? Well, Ronaldo is a strawberry.
I think you can tell by now, I'm not really a fan of Ronaldo being in this game. Probably because he's a Las Vegas fan. If you don't believe me, Google CR7 Las Vegas. If you heard the discourse about this game before it released, you know by now of the two guest characters, being Salvatore and Ronaldo. Especially Salvatore. People did not like him in the game because, truth be told, who knew him? At least everybody knew Ronaldo. That being said,
you're cool.
My opinion on Salvatore has definitely changed. I am fine with Salvatore being in this game, probably because Salvatore actually gives a fuck about being in this game. Like, you see this guy at EVO, he made songs for this game, and it's pretty obvious the devs cared more about him being in the game over Ronaldo. You think he gives a fuck about being in this game? Just watch his interview.
The special moves, of course, they are strong, like me.
Like, come on, at least put in some effort in this interview. Thanks for the money, SNK. Oh, yeah. I should mention, as of writing, there are 17 characters out right now, with 5 confirmed as DLC, being Andy, Ken, Joe, Chun-Li, and Mr. Big. Cool thing about City of the Wolves is, as of right now, these 5 are free DLC, considering the fact you can only buy the special edition as of right now. Online in this game is a solid 7 out of 10. Like, it's passing, but there's flaws in the current system. As of right now, there are 25 ranks. Rookie 5-1, C 5-1, B 5-1, A 5-1, and S 5-1. You start at the 5, and you end at the 1. Now, this actually brings me to my first complaint about online, being the fact that there are 0 placement matches in Ranked. And yes, I only played Ranked. I am the only person in my group of friends who even bought this game. Basically, the game asks how much fighting game experience you have, being Novice, Beginner, Intermediate, and Advanced, in which you're immediately placed into a rank. I think you can obviously tell the problem here. If you can't, basically a bad actor can purposely place themselves in the lowest rank to then stomp their way to their actual rank, which hurts the new player experience. Another complaint about Ranked is your account is entirely account-based, not character-based. So if you're really good with one character but want to try another character, you either have to accept the ranked stomp or play casual. And we all know how casual is. Another issue this brings up is because every rank is account-based, this actually makes the ranked pool extremely small. See, I'm not exactly the best at this game. I hop around C1 and B5. And truthfully, I would consider the C rank to be somewhat average. That being said, I've had matchmaking put me against somebody in the rookie ranks and someone in the A rank, due to how small the ranks pool actually is. If we were going to compare ranked systems, if we have a character-based rank system instead of an account-based rank system, there would be more players in these ranked pools. And because of that, we wouldn't have a B5 player fighting a rookie player and a B5 player fighting a A-rank player. Now, my last online complaint is the rollback itself. Call me spoiled, but I have never had a match where I am playing with 0 delay frames and / or 0 rollback frames. There is always at least either 1 rollback or 1 delay frame, and it gets a little annoying. Not to mention, there is no Wi-Fi or LAN indicator, so you can sometimes match into someone with the worst connection known to man, who will then swiftly be added to your block list. All in all, I give the online a 7 out of 10. It's not perfect, but it works. So the big question is, should you buy City of the Wolves? And truthfully, if you have $60 burning in your pocket right now, and you have King of Fighters experience, go ahead and buy it. You get 22 characters, 5 of which are coming out every 2 months, I believe, starting with Andy. But what if you're new to fighting games? Should City of the Wolves be your first fighting game? No. So, I will admit, I am biased. But regardless if you are completely new to fighting games, I do not recommend City of the Wolves as your first fighting game. Instead, I'd recommend buying Street Fighter 6 as your first fighting game. I tried my best not to compare games in this script until I got to the comparison segment, but I want to go over 5 points that are important for both new players and experienced players. Starting with the price. Street Fighter 6 is $40 and you get 18 characters with it. However, if you wait until June 5th, for $60 according to the Nintendo Store, you can get the Year 1 and 2 Fighters Edition, which includes 26 total characters. City of the Wolves is $60 and includes 22 characters. However, 5 as of right now are unplayable, meaning it's technically 17 characters as of right now. And even if you didn't want those 8 extra characters, 6 is technically cheaper with more characters playable. Only big issue 6 has with pricing is its monetization. 4 characters are going to cost you $30, and it doesn't include their Outfit 2 and 3. However, Outfit 2 is grindable. And don't even think about buying DLC fighters separately, as to just buy one, you need to put $10 into the game's premium currency. Even though the character itself costs approximately $7 in premium currency, you need to buy 2 $5 currency packs just to get 350 fighter coins. City of the Wolves has better monetization in the sense that as of right now, it doesn't exist. And do not get me started on the Ultimate Pass. Secondly speaking, the tutorial. Street Fighter 6 absolutely has a better tutorial. Not only do you get the basics, but you have more combo trials for all skill levels. And also character guides, which basically tell you how to play the character. City of the Wolves has tutorials and combo trials, but doesn't go over the character itself through a character guide. Thankfully, both games have an interactive tutorial at launch. The worst thing you can do as a tutorial is either just not fucking have one, or make the user go on the internet and search one up, aka not even playing the game. Then again, certain games get away with it because if you dare talk shit about their perfect direct... I do see City of the Wolves tutorial is somewhat lackluster compared to Street Fighter 6. Thirdly, the online and ranked. 6 has better online and a better ranked system. For one, there's still the first question when you boot up ranked. However, every character has 10 required placement matches to place in an appropriate rank. The netcode is just significantly better, There's a Wi-Fi and LAN indicator, and even when I match against a Wi-Fi player, it's actually pretty uncommon for me to see either one rollback or delay frame. I still get it from time to time against both LAN and Wi-Fi players, but it's still extremely uncommon. Not to mention, once you get Master on a character, you get the better ranked version, being the ELO system, and the Master rewards, which encourages you to keep playing. Fourthly, single player content. How do I say this in the nicest way possible? Oh, right.
They both suck.
They both kind of suck, but, you know, I've said this once about EOST, but it's very, once you play it, you've basically experienced everything. World Tour is the same way, however, if you ask me, it's much more interactable as you can create your own avatar and even your own moveset. Only issue I really have with the World Tour is the postgame is extremely grindy. It is very much designed around not replaying it from the beginning. You know, they both just kind of suck, but I would still sink more hours into World Tour as it's more customizable. And there's even a multiplayer game mode for it, as fucking dog shit as it is. So this is the part where I ruin the little credibility I have left. But Street Fighter 6 has significantly more players than City of the Wolves, according to the Steam chart. And because of that, you're going to find matches much faster, and not only that, you're going to find much fairer matches. With all that said, Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is a great game. It's just not a good first fighting game. But, you know, don't let my comparison spoil the waters for you. If you are new to fighting games, and you really want to play City of the Wolves first, go for it, really. It's still a fun game to play. That being said, after a month, I would give this game a solid 8 out of 10. Do I hope we get future DLC in Season 2? Yeah. I would love to see more characters. You know, that being said, I don't really know how to end these videos. This is just going to be the end of the review. Buy it if you want, or don't buy it. I don't know. That's the video.